What's up, everybody? FOMC day. Everybody, let's get involved. We got a great stream lined up for today. Hope everybody's feeling good. We got some good news that may be coming in to pump the markets. Is it going to be a trap? Is it going to be a trap both directions? What's this volatility going to do? How do we prepare? That's what we're going to be talking about today in the stream. So everybody hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. We're going to be getting going here in just a couple minutes. A few minutes early because I got to bounce off to go up and do Discover Crypto right after the stream. So we're going to be getting started here in just a sec. Shout out David Yancic said, great intro yesterday, Kelly. Thanks for always providing high quality content. Thank you very much. Take any compliment I can get. I appreciate each and every one of you being here on a daily basis. Roll call right now. Everybody get involved in the chat. We got Lloyd Gonzalez. We got Alexander G, Justin Eubanks, Falco, Rafiq Ghafoor, David Yancic, Red Elephant, who I think I already said, I'm not sure. Crimson Caravan. I got the regular crew in the house. Fade and TradFi, what's up? Soul is eating the world, baby. Morning. Let's look at Soul today too. By the way, if you haven't yet, get involved in BitLab Academy. We're doing private member streams every day, breaking down, going a lot deeper in the TA. Chart requests specifically from those members in there. If you didn't catch it and you are a member, go into the lobby on the BitLab Discord. You'll see yesterday's recording. Matt C, what's up, my friend? Maybe a Band-Aid, how you doing? I love seeing all our regulars here in the house early. FOMC day today. Do you guys think we're going to have any volatility before that? Do you think it's going to be kind of suppressed up until that point? Do you think we're going to break out after the FOMC meeting? Do you think we're going to have a false breakout and then actually move to the downside? Let me know what your thoughts are. Crimson's had volatility before, during, and after. Let's see how that goes. Question is, all you that are here early, you are the true OGs. So my question to you is, why do we have 22 people in here and only 10 likes? Everybody hit that like button. As silly as it may seem, we don't really care about the likes. What it does is it lets YouTube know you like this content and it helps YouTube push this out to more people. Helps us keep the lights on and lets, it's an easy way to just engage with what you're watching. Big love to every one of you. We're going to get started here in just a moment. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you're tuned in from. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. My name's Kelly Kellam. Let's dive right on into it. It is November 1st, 2023. It feels like we are living in the future. Looking at the monthly closes here on Bitcoin, looking good. We got a pretty decent pump here in October. I think every one of you that's watching, if you don't know it, then I don't know how you even ended up on this stream, because that was a pretty big pump, 27-ish%. We also had a very similar pump back here in January, which was, let's go ahead and measure that one out. This one was roughly 39-40%. We're getting some strong movement. We have a big decision today with the FOMC with Chair Powell, Jerome Powell. Do you think we are going to get a pause? Do you think we're going to get a hike, or do you think we are going to get a cut? If you say cut, then maybe you're a little bit too optimistic. It's very unlikely that we will, but hey, who knows what's going to happen? I don't think we're going to get another hike. There's about a 99% probability that we are going to get that pause. The question's going to be, what is going to be the discourse, the tonality in the press conference? It's 30 minutes after. In fact, Discover Crypto will be doing a live stream at 2 p.m. Eastern time when the numbers come out. We'll be talking our thoughts on what that number means and sharing charts and just a lot of stuff. It's going to be me, Joshua, Jake, and DZ talking it through. And then once the press conference comes on, we're going to be sharing our thoughts on the tonality of what they are saying, because the tone is what's really going to drive the speculation about where markets may be headed next, because people are going to plan ahead. They're going to price in what they think is coming next. Another hike, another pause, or are cuts coming sooner than later? This is the things that we need to pay attention to when we're trying to figure out what's going on with all this. Now, the question is Bitcoin going to, Bitcoin in the crypto market, is Bitcoin going to sustain this decoupling that we're seeing on the S&P 500 and Bitcoin, AKA TradFi moving down while Bitcoin has been moving up? We can see this right here on this chart. Blue line, S&P 500. Orange line, Bitcoin. Look at this. I mean, it's not even a divergence. It's just going in complete opposite directions. Is this something that's going to sustain? This is what everybody's trying to figure out. Is Bitcoin actually becoming a flight to quality? Are we seeing that happening in front of our eyes? And the question is, are you prepared? So I want to see everybody in the chat right now. One, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ding the bell. But everybody that is here right now, I want to see some lab coats in the chat. Everybody make those fly by. Let's get some engagement going. Let's look at these charts. I have a couple things that I want to bring up here. Okay, Bitcoin CME futures tried to break out of a tight bull flag, but was unable to hold the move. Price structure is still bullish, but I was hoping to see that move stick. Maybe they're just knocking on heaven's door before it fully breaks through. We also see right here, this is the bull pennant that everybody's talking about. Are we getting a little bit of is this a little bit of a bull trap and it's going to actually push down? Are we going to get that zigzag up? That's what's called a whipsaw. Push up, trap people long, to reverse, to trap people short, to then ultimately move to the upside? Or is this going to sustain above this upper resistance? Everybody's trying to figure that out right now. Well, there's something I want to talk about just moving into the end of the year. It is November, the middle of the fourth quarter. We're going into 2024, which hopefully everybody thinks is very likely to be an explosively bullish year for Bitcoin, and maybe for the markets too, but who knows what's going to happen with all the metrics that suggest a recession is still on the horizon. Are we going to get that soft landing? Well, when we see things like this, Jeff Ross, who we've had on the show before, we had an interview with him, says right here, stealth QE by the Treasury, question mark, QE being quantitative easing. Well, this is a point right here. Treasury continues to make significant progress on its plans to implement a regular buyback program in 2024. This is what he means by stealth QE. Rather than just printing money, and pumping money into the economy, what they're looking to do is do these buybacks of different government bonds and treasuries and stuff from banks, because the banks are feeling the pressure right now with these sustained interest rates as high as they are. Banks globally, not just in the US, but banks globally are getting to the point where they are struggling because they can't make money on the money that they were seeing. A flight of deposits out of banks. We're seeing, basically pressure on their profit margins with all these interest rates. So what's going to be happening here? Brokoshi no dinero, good to see you back, my friend. I don't think I've seen you in a little while here, so happy to have you back. Now, next thing I want to look at is, actually, we'll come back to that in a second. This is that correlation that we're talking about. Nobody is talking about this. Bitcoin's correlation to the stock market has collapsed. I don't know what Game of Trades is talking about because I've been talking about this for about a month, okay? Now, the big wigs out there and, you know, the people that have millions of followers, maybe they're not talking about it. Some of them are. If you look in the right directions, if you get people that have a broad view on this market, not just narrowly focused on an individual asset or individual asset class, people that are focused on Bitcoin are noticing this because of charts like this. And we can see the correlation has cycled from 50% to under 0% in less than a year. BlackRock's ETF-related news added fuel to the fire. There's so much hope right now that is boiled in and packaged into this idea that these Bitcoin spot ETFs are just around the corner, coming up right when we're going to have the Bitcoin halving in around April of 2024. We're months away from not only the best period of time in Bitcoin when we have that halving, which then ushers in a new bull market, not only for Bitcoin, but then when capital flows and cycles into altcoins and we get those massive, massive gains in the altcoin markets. Now, the question here is going to be, is this going to be continually delayed? Is it going to be packaged up and all of it shut down by Gary Gensler? Or will it all be mass approved likely? Is there a likelihood for that in January or February, maybe March of 2024? Just before the halving, a cut in supply and an exponential increase in demand. This is the absolute fireworks of the perfect storm for the best bull market we've ever seen. But is it too much hope tied into all this? Is there going to be a possibility for price action to push up incredibly fast and incredibly high, only to be reversed back down because it's one of the biggest traps in history? It's something on my mind. I'm still trading with, as a bull. I think this is still going to be probably the most explosive bull market we've ever seen, but there's going to be entirely new market pressures that come into play when we have these large institutions come into the fold. Yes, we will have new capital flow channels into Bitcoin for some of the biggest asset managers in the history of the world and funds. And just, I mean, this is, I don't even know how to describe how much of a perfect storm this is, but because of all these new flows that come in, we also have new actors in the space that tend to trade a little bit more conservatively. Pension funds, you have a pension fund that invests, let's say, an allocation of 3% of their fund into Bitcoin. Are they okay with a 65% drop or a 70% drop post all-time high? Like we've seen in the past, we've seen 85% drops. I think these drops are going to be getting smaller and smaller, but are we going to see a different interaction with the market cycle? Are we going to have a different type of market cycle because of all these new actors? Well, this is still forward-looking and very speculative, so we need to see how some of this plays out. Which actors get involved? Which ETFs get approved, or all of them, and when, and how that lines up in relationship to where the halving is going to be. So let's kind of zoom it back. We had to talk a little macro. We have to bring it right back and talk about today, FOMC meeting. We can see if we come over here to the CME FedWatch tool, boom. The CME FedWatch tool, we got a 99.2% sort of chance, likelihood, basically near 100%. That we are going to get a pause, because this is the rates that we are currently at right here. There's 525 to 550, 5.25% to 5.5%. This is where most people are thinking we are going to be. The question is, will there be tone that we are going to get another rate hike in the future? What do you guys think? Do you think this will be a pause? And from here, we will pause until we eventually cut sometime in 2024? Or do you think we'll pause, hike, pause, cut? Where do your bets lie? God, if they just turn and raise, if they just left turn and raise rates, the markets would melt. Yeah. You know what I mean? You never have, there's no way to know really what's going to happen. Let's come over here to the totals and let's look actually at, let's look at this since it's up here. This is the total market cap. We are just knocking on heaven's door for the crypto market broadly, the index of the crypto market. That's what this total is. TOTAL, total. Just type that in on your chart, TOTAL, and it brings up the index of basically all the crypto that matters. It's kind of, it's not going to account for every one of the 28,000 or 30,000 crypto out there, but the ones that matter. We see we're at about a $1.25 trillion market cap for all crypto out there. And we're knocking on the door for this to break out and the market as a whole to really explode higher. Now, the majority of this will be Bitcoin. Why is that? Because when we come over here and we look at the Bitcoin dominance, this is the Bitcoin dominance. This is showing that the dominance has been going up. Are we going to get up into this region right here before we break down? Meaning, is Bitcoin more broadly going to outperform the majority of the crypto market up until the dominance gets to this point before rejection comes down? Or will it even potentially break through this and just run away? With the advent of all these new institutional players coming into the fold, this is something to consider. We may see a different type of market cycle than before. This is why markets are new every day. There's new actors, there's new variables, there's new things to consider, which is why to dominate in this market, and by dominate, I mean, in order to be profitable over time and not be at a loss, be consistently in the money, you have to have an edge in this market. Because nothing that is learned today is going to be 100% applicable every day for the rest of your life. The variables change, the markets change, the data changes, and so you need to be able to adjust your strategy and pull in new information, filter it, decipher it, and apply it to a strategy that can navigate this market. And that's why we're here at BitLab Academy. That's why I'm happy every one of you's here. If you haven't yet, make sure you go over to bitlabacademy.com. Check us out here. Get involved. We're doing live near daily streams in the Discord, breaking down a lot more TA and all kind of things in there. If you didn't catch yesterday's, don't switch. If you didn't catch yesterday's, I'm posting them here in the lobby. I'm going to create a channel of, there's going to be a channel here in the Discord of basically the archived private member streams. And if you want to tune in today, I'll be on again at noon. It's right up here in the very top where it says one event. Click there and just click interested and join us at noon. If you can't do that, I'm recording them. I'll post it later on this afternoon. But getting back into the charts, Bitcoin monthly looking good. But what has happened each time this is pushed up? In this case, we had a very volatile month here where it pushed up and broke back down until we ultimately pushed up. But then we also consolidated and broke down. Is this going to be a push-up? Is this going to be a push-up continuation? Or is this going to be a push-up, pullback, rise, retrace, continuation? As it stands right now, we don't know. But we have a big day today in front of us. So let's zoom it down into the 4-hour. Look at that. Woo, 4-hour chart. This is on BitGet. We can see this wick means price came all the way up here in the last 3 hours, about 2 hours and 10 minutes, pushed all the way up here, and the bears brought it back down. Is this a setup for higher prices to push the price lower, or is this going to be just as I mentioned before, where the price action gets pushed up, whipsawed back down, commits people, scares them back out of this bullish position, only to then reverse it and come back up? Let's look at what it looks like on the 1 hour. All right, we're getting a lot of, look at that though. We broke out, we're coming back, we tested this line. Look at, we even whipsawed a little bit beyond this support line. Now we're finding some support here. If we can hold in this region and then push up, we've already cleared away some of this zone. In fact, we have not gotten a new high. The high was over here, all the way up here at the top of this order block, but we flushed out a pretty good amount of it. Will the bulls push higher? Well, as it looks right now on the 1 hour, we've got until 2 o'clock, so 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. We got 4 hours before the FOMC meeting, and then another half hour after that until the press conference. Now, looking here, we can actually create a trend line right in this region like this. Got a lot of lines going through here. So what are they? Let's zoom out. Let's get a fuller picture. Well, we have this line that we talked about that has a lot of support and resistance all the way back to January of this year. And this has been the breakdown point from which we've been testing, trying to get beyond. In addition to this, we have this order block here, which makes sense because we have this massive trend line in this zone. Now we also have this descending trend line at the top of this bull pennant. Now remember, we talked about this. We have this basically flagpole that suggests that if we do break out and really get some steam, we could go up to $41,000. So what gives? Are we going to? Let's look at some of the indicators. This is on the 4-hour chart. We see that there's a pretty concerted trend line with the, let's go ahead and move this. There's a trend line here with the orange line. This is the stochastics. And this is getting rejected each time. If this can push up here and break past this, maybe we're going to get that further push up. We do have positive money flow here, but this concerns me. Look at these momentum waves. Boom, boom, boom. If this rolls over in here, then this is an indication that, we're losing this move. But if we do break beyond this and get a higher high than here, and the stochastics simultaneously are breaking this trend line that they've created, then this may be room to run. This is looking a little neutral right now, which makes sense. We're coming into a data point that nobody can know until it happens, because there's a data point and then there's a tone about that data point. It's not just a number that they say at 2 o'clock. It's what they're indicating, what they're signaling subversively through the tonality. Are they hawkish? Are they dovish? Are they signaling there's going to be no more rate hikes? Are they signaling there's likely going to be another one? If I had to guess, they'll probably try to be dovishly hawkish. That makes no sense, Kelly. I know. I think they're going to try and be somewhat opaque about it so they don't send the markets in either direction. They don't want the markets just to explode higher. It's contrary to popular opinion. They want it to be a controlled rise if it makes sense for the markets. And they also don't want the markets just to crash. We're going into election cycle year. It's also not good for all the metrics. What they'd like to do really is signal that there's, depending on the certain data sets, there's room for discussion. Maybe there will be need for another hike. There's going to be something like that if I had to guess. So there's going to be a little bit of confusion we'll see in the price charts. If we come down here like on the 15-minute candle, I think that we're going to see a little bit of chop in here, a push up, pull back, and we're going to have to see what direction this moves into the end of the day. After, I would say, by about 3:30, 4 o'clock, we're going to have a clear direction as to what direction that market is moving. Now, as it stands right now, looking here on this 15-minute candle, interestingly, it looked like on the 4-hour candle, it did that over a period of time. This is why you zoom in to smaller time frames so you get better resolution on how quick or how slow certain moves happen. On this 15-minute chart, we can see this was one candle up, a pause candle. Third candle was a big movement. Fourth candle all the way back down to test previous resistance. Now, as it stands, flipping it to support. But look at this. Pushing up, while on the 15-minute, we have the stochastics rolling over. RSI is slightly rolled over here as well. And these momentum waves, again, are forming a trend line to the downside. Is this an indication? What I would say about TA in a moment like this is not that it doesn't work. That's not what I'm going to say. You have to be careful about the targets that you are projecting to strategies you're trying to implement for trades on days like today, because the market makers and the big money and institutions and people out there that can really understand what the U's and the me's and the shrimps and the retail really want the market to do, and they'll push it just far enough to get you involved in a trade one direction or the other. Likely different types of traders in both directions, trap them both, take the liquidity, and then basically they didn't steal it from you because you donated it because you weren't patient. So what I would say about this today is look at the trade opportunities you or setups that you're seeing and decide if you're going to take it, what your risk management is, and can you stick to it. I would not be doing leverage trades on a day like today until the direction of the move is set. So many people jump in trying to leverage trade to make a bunch of money only to lose a majority of the money that they've slowly accumulated. If you accumulate slow, it's going to be sustainable. If you accumulate fast, you're a much higher risk. Now, I'm not saying that there's not an opportunity to make big money and do it quickly. Leverage trading is fantastic if you have a good strategy. If you have patience, if you're not just jumping at every opportunity, let a trend be defined, especially on a day like today, and then buy the pullback continuation. Rather than trying to front run this, have it liquidate people in both directions before it finds the direction of the move. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means that we got a little bit of patience to do because we keep trying to break out of this. We technically still have a lower high here or even on this pump. So I'd be waiting for these candles to break these candle bodies. Let's actually go to the 1 hour. I'd be wanting it to break these candle bodies, taking a trade somewhere around there and having a very tight stop loss. You know, basically coming in somewhere in this region here and having a stop loss somewhere like this, because we've already had the flush out to the upside. We already had a flush out to the downside. So if this tries to push up and it breaks this level, you have your entry set just above this, and then you have your stop loss set just down a little bit below where this previous support zone was confirmed. This way it doesn't come back to this area and wash you out. And then as price action, sorry, let's actually put this up, go into this zone here. It's the next order block. Great identifiable area for potential profit taking. Portion of your profits, not all. If you are trading, if you're long-term investing, then the profit taking is not something you need to be interested in yet, because if you're position trading for a longer period of time, then you are going to be looking for exit sometime in about 14, 16 months. Market cycle top is likely to be sometime around 16 to 20 months from now. So when I'm talking about, know that when I'm talking about taking profits on your trades, it's for those of you that are scalp trading and swing trading, not those long-term investors. Long-term investors, we're looking for when a trend becomes strong and there's a pullback on that trend that you know that's going to be rise, retrace, continuation, you buy that dip. So many people say, buy the dip, buy the dip. Well, you got to buy the right dips. Yeah, let's get those flying emojis. Let's get those going. Let's get those lab coats flying. I hope everybody in here, hope you're all having a good day, by the way. We got 109 people in the room. Everybody hit the like button. If you haven't yet, join us here in BitLab Academy. Subscribe, join us daily basis. We're breaking down what's going on in these markets. Now, I want to kind of look over here at a couple other things. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. There we go. Let's look at quant. Quant, remember yesterday we were talking about how to inverse head and shoulders. Actually, I think I was talking about this in the member stream where we were breaking down TA on specific altcoins on the request of the members in there. But we had this massive head and shoulders. And we not only have a massive head and shoulders, we broke out with the new lower high. And what I don't want to say arguing, but my analysis suggests that we're likely going to have push down, a rise, push down, a rise, and a test into this zone down here, the $99-$100 region. So that's a target I'm looking at there. We are starting to round out here a little bit. So is this going to be a bottom? Maybe, but that's okay. You could have projected lower spots that never get hit, and you adjust course next time. You could take. I mean, this is looking quite weak. So you got to ask yourself, you want to dance, sucker? But this is looking quite weak. Pretty strong rise, head and shoulders, breakdown, target somewhere in this region. What does ADA look like? ADA. Man, look at that. We talked about this. We had the rising wedge in the zone. Look at this. Breakdown from the rising wedge, retest of the rising wedge, breakdown, and continuation of the downside. So breakdown, rise, continuation of the downside. Rise, continuation of the downside. Now, is this going to start rolling over? This indicated that it's trying to. See this momentum wave rounding. We see the stochastic angled up. We see all this green over here on the dashboard on the BitLab Trend Fuel. By the way, if anybody's interested in these indicators, head over to bitlabacademy.com. Come right here to indicators, BitLab Trading Stack. You can still use the code GIVEME30, all one word, GIVEME30, 30 is how it's spelled. GIVEME30, one word, and you get 30% off the first month. And that has, of course, this BitLab Trend Fuel has the BitLab volume here. And look at this on the volume. Comes down, forms an order block, rises, retests into the order block. Now pushes up into the upper resistance order block that is above, and it gets rejected right back down. And these candle bodies are being sustained and held below this previous range, most near range low, right in this region. Look at this. If we can start pushing up higher again, then maybe there's a case that this is going to break through. As it stands right now, This, push up, down. We have this W pattern. It's trying. Momentum's trying. It is looking bullish, but we got to get through this zone right here. So on the breakthrough of this zone would be it's not like it's that far of a distance. You can be a little patient. 1%. You could be patient for 1%, giving you, much higher percentage likelihood of a trade working. Let the trade come to you. So as this pushes up into the zone, watch for a little bit of a rise, a retest, and, on the breakout back to the upside, there's your opportunity. Atom, we talked about this yesterday let's actually go out of this chart. Let's go right here. Atom, this is the chart that we were talking about yesterday. Look at how long this trend line has been. This trend line, this is all the way back to January 2022. And look at this. We are testing the hell out of this right now. 1 hour. Let's go look at this clearly. You can see clearly now the range is down. So look at that. Push up, support, 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 breakthrough, rejection. Is this going to test a little lower? We're going to have to watch this one today because this is looking like it's also trying a reversal here. Oops. We got a little bit of a diamond pattern right here. Diamond patterns are reversal patterns. And this is coming down. Is this going to reverse and come right back up? Liquidity washout to the downside. We see the stochastics reset. They're pushing up. We see the momentum is starting to roll over. Money flow is still positive. This looks a little bit to me like a washout to the downside. Potentially a pretty good opportunity if this is a coin that you feel like you missed. 6% came back 6% down. So watch for this to test this region. If it starts to break out of this, opportunity. Everybody, I love you so very much. I just wanted to point this out too. If you're wondering different coins that at least put on your radar, this is the top crypto projects by developer activity as of 2 days ago. Cardano with 505, Polkadot, Hedera, Hash, this is HBAR, Aptos, Chainlink, Cosmos. I'm actually very surprised to see IOTA on here. Avalanche, Multiverse X, previously eGold, I guess it still is on the ticker, but eGold and Radix. This is one of those ways you can identify things that maybe weren't on your radar, but this shows that teams are building. Maybe it's something that you should be looking into because that means they're actively trying to push their ecosystem forward. And then you identify in the charts, is this a long-term hold, a short-term hold, or just a quick same time, same day trade based on news, whether it's a long or a short. But that's all I got for you today, everybody. I love you. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell. I'm head over to Discover Crypto now to break down some things in the market there. So again, I love you all. I appreciate you. Make sure you head over to our one and only BitLab Academy at noon today. Come in here. If you're a member in the Academy, come into this event area. Click interested. Join us. Doing these live members only streams in the Discord. I love you. That's all I got. Adios, muchachos. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. BitLabAcademy.com. Hit that like button, sucker.